I have to trust in something beside myself, but I'm always changing. I'm never who I was, because I'm working at being better, because I'm not very good, so I'm trying to be better, I'm just a man. And so in that pursuit, you find things, not always successful. We're working away and we find a big rotten spot, 11 foot long. You can spend $12,000 on a log, but you've only bought a log. You don't know if you've got the sculpture there. My friends and very close friends, my bandmates are here, and half the town is here. I don't know who will be turning out the lights at home because a lot of people got tickets and sold cans and bottles to get out here, so it's a pretty humbling experience, It's pretty nice. It's real nice. The working titles, "We Were Always Here." Part of the reason for creating the sculptures was to create more of an awareness of the museum off the mall. So it was a bit of a joke. If we were always here, you just couldn't see us behind the trees. So here we have several thousand pounds of wood. Let's open it up because we want to see what's inside our package. So there were some spots that had to be dealt with, not unlike life. There were some rotten spots. There were places where we had trouble. There were places where we sweat blood for a little bit. If we're truly to make some good medicine with it, it has to do a bit more than just be pretty, So John and I opened the door to the community. And so at one point there were 10 people working on the Raven pole, and it was all done literally by doctors and lawyers. We didn't have an Indian chief in there, but we had doctors, lawyers, and there was probably a candlestick maker in there, but there certainly was a baker or two. Well, I think that the pieces, what do I want to say? It's not necessarily importance. It's life, let's say. It's like it's like life. It'll change. So over time, it'll assume its own life, just as it has now. It could have been a house full of shakes. It could have been a beam in a building. But somehow, through that red line of passion and creativity moving down through the tides of generations, somehow it ended up as a sculpture here. And I don't think that was by accident.
Watching Bartow make sculpture is one of the most fascinating and fun things. Watching his whole creative process, but every medium he works in, his mindset is different, and his process is the same. It's very spontaneous. It's very out of nowhere, left field, and it's repetitive, but it's random.
To work for the National Museum, John and I kind of joked amongst ourselves in the shop saying we were making a present for America. And to a degree, I think that's true, probably, Yeah, the pole does have a story, and it's all about water. Any way you look at it, the premise is water. That's what it was built on. It's about the West. The raven comes out of the West in many of the plains. Other stories, the raven is always a trickster, a rascal. And the bear was one of the first doctors, or the first doctor. And also, the bear is a fiercely protective parent. And so, we think that it's time now to send these energies to Washington, D.C., of a rascal, a humorous rascal, who teaches as much by what they do or they don't do, and the bear, who's fiercely protective of the children and of medicine. The sun and moon, with the red line moving down through those little ripples, that to me represents the passion of art moving down through the generations like waves on the ocean. And so, from inside of me, unbeknownst to me, I'm creating something that is, and was, and still remains. Quite unconsciously, you see. There's a wonderful, wonderful Native American poem, and I use it quite often in a set that we do, where the old man, he says, "Look at me, what do you see? An ugly old man, but inside I'm filled up with a great beauty." So, that's enough.